Picture this: a weathered old rider in a faded leather jacket, leaning against a vintage motorcycle as the sun drops behind him. Every one of us has met that guy. You roll up on your brand new machine with all the latest tech, traction control, 6 ride modes, and a dashboard brighter than your phone. And he looks at the bike, then looks at you and says, "Back in my day, we did not need any of that." And you smile, you nod, and you think, "Yeah, okay, old timer, sure, enjoy your carburetor." But here is what has quietly been happening for years. One by one, the things those old school riders preached for decades, the stuff we rolled our eyes at, modern riding keeps circling right back to. The science caught up, the crash data agrees, the training manuals basically just printed what the veterans were already saying in parking lots 50 years ago. And number one on this list has nothing to do with the motorcycle at all. It might be the most important thing any of them ever told us. So before you write off the gray bearded guy at the gas station, stick around. These are 10 things old school bikers were right about all along. Now look, I love modern motorcycles. The technology on a brand new machine would feel like pure science fiction to a rider in the 70s. Cornering ABS, quick shifters, electronic suspension that reads the road. It is genuinely incredible. But somewhere along the way, we started treating the old guys like dinosaurs. Like everything they knew got replaced by a sensor and a software update. The funny part is that half the so-called new advice you will get from a modern riding instructor is the exact same wisdom your grandfather's riding buddies were shouting at each other over a cup of gas station coffee. So today we give them their due. We are counting down from 10, and the further down this list we go, the more it is going to hit home. Number 10. Start on a small motorcycle. Ask any veteran what bike a beginner should buy, and the answer has not changed in half a century. Something small, something light, something that will not try to launch you into orbit the first time you get a little too excited with your right wrist. For years, new riders treated that as gatekeeping. I can handle it. I will just be careful. I will grow into it. Then the rider training organizations ran the numbers, and the old men were right again. New riders on big, aggressive sport bikes crash more, crash harder, and quit riding faster. A smaller standard bike or a modest cruiser does not just keep you alive, it teaches you. You learn throttle control, balance, and braking on a machine that forgives a mistake instead of punishing it. You can drop it in an empty parking lot, and the only thing bruised is your ego. The riders who start small almost always end up smoother and more confident than the ones who jump straight onto a 1000cc rocket. The small bike is not the consolation prize, it is the head start. And there is no shame in it at any age. Plenty of riders coming back to motorcycles after 20 years away do the smart thing and buy something light and friendly first, get their reflexes back, then move up. The ego bruise heals a lot faster than a broken collarbone, but starting on the right bike means nothing if you cut a corner on the only thing connecting you to the road, which brings us to number 9. Number 9, your tires are everything. There is an old saying in every garage: you have 2 contact patches with the ground, and each one is about the size of the palm of your hand. That is the entire conversation between your motorcycle and the planet. 2 palm-sized patches of rubber, and that is it. So the grizzled riders always treated tires like a religion. Check the pressure before the ride, watch the tread, crouch down and press a thumb into it, and never buy the cheapest rubber just to save a few bucks. For a while, riders ignored them because tires are expensive and the cheap ones look identical in the catalog. A lot of people learned the hard way that a worn or budget tire turns a wet corner into a coin flip. Modern engineering proves the point even more than the old guys could. The gap between a quality tire and a bargain one, especially on cold or rain-soaked asphalt, is the difference between a story you tell at the bar and a story someone else tells about you. Your brakes, your suspension, your fancy traction control, All of it routes through those two little patches of rubber. The old riders never needed a lab. They had felt a back tire let go on bald rubber and never forgot it. And do not just eyeball them. Check your tire pressure when the rubber is cold, using a real gauge, because you genuinely cannot tell a slightly low tire by looking at it, and the wrong pressure quietly wrecks both your grip and your tire life. Watch the age and the little cracks in the sidewall too, because rubber gets old and hard even on a bike that barely leaves the garage. Good tires are the cheapest insurance you will ever buy. And speaking of insurance, number 8 still starts arguments at every gas station meetup. Number 8, dress for the crash, not the ride. All the gear, all the time. The veterans who lived long enough to go gray never treated a riding jacket as optional, and they had a saying for the guys who skipped it: dress for the slide, not the ride. For years, plenty of riders pushed back. It is hot, it is heavy. I am only going down to the shop. But asphalt does not check your route before it grinds you down. Skin against pavement at even 30 miles an hour is not a fair fight, and the old riders had friends with the road rash to prove it. Here is why the old advice aged so well. The gear got dramatically better. We now have armored jackets that breathe in summer heat, body armor that flexes like it is not even there, and riding jeans that look completely normal when you walk into a cafe. So the only excuse left is ego. The riders who got home in one piece after a low side will tell you the same thing every time. The gear is mildly annoying for the 10 seconds you put it on, and an absolute miracle for the one ride you actually need it. That scuffed up helmet sitting on the shelf is not a bad memory. And it is not just the jacket. The old riders meant the whole kit. Real gloves, because your hands are the first thing that hits the ground every single time. Over the ankle boots, because a bare ankle and a falling motorcycle is a bad combination. And a good helmet sitting ready by the door. It is the reason there is somebody around to remember anything at all. But gear protects you from your own mistakes. Number 7 protects you from everybody else's. Number 7, ride like you are invisible. This might be the single most repeated piece of old school wisdom there is. The veterans drummed it into every new rider because they had watched too many friends get left-turned by a driver who swore they never saw the motorcycle. And the brutal truth is the crash data backs them up completely. A large share of car versus motorcycle collisions happen because the driver genuinely did not register the bike. Not malice, just a tired brain scanning for big metal boxes and filtering out the smaller shape. So the old defensive mindset was never paranoia. It was pattern recognition built from standing at too many funerals. What the veterans taught was a whole system. Cover your brakes near every intersection. Watch the front wheels of waiting cars because the wheels start rolling before the car ever moves. Assume the gap will close. Assume the door will open. Assume the driver on the phone has no idea you exist. Modern training calls it situational awareness now, with diagrams and 3-letter acronyms. They also taught lane position, which a lot of riders never think about. Sit in the right part of your lane so you are visible in mirrors, so you have an escape path, and so you are not hidden behind the car in front of you. And at night, that defensive mindset doubles, because now you are a single small headlight in a sea of cars. And reflective gear and a clean visor suddenly matter even more. The old guys just called it staying alive, and they taught it for free. But seeing the danger does you no good if you cannot control the machine at low speed, which is exactly number 6. Number 6, if you cannot ride slow, you cannot really ride. Watch a true veteran in an empty parking lot and it is almost boring how good they are. Tight U-turns inside a single parking space, slow figure eights, balancing at walking pace without a single foot touching down. The old riders were obsessed with low-speed control, and the young guys never understood why. Going slow is easy, right? Going fast is the hard part. Wrong, and the veterans knew it cold. A massive number of drops and embarrassing tip-overs happen at parking lot speed. The gas station, the driveway, the tight U-turn on a narrow road with an audience watching. Almost nobody drops a bike at 70. They drop it at 5, paddling around like a tightrope walker who forgot the rope. The rider who masters the clutch, the rear brake, and the throttle at a crawl is the rider who never has that moment in front of a crowd. And here is the bonus the old men understood. The exact skills that make you smooth at 5 miles an hour are the same ones that make you smooth at 70. Spend 20 minutes in an empty lot working the friction zone, dragging the rear brake, keeping your head and eyes up and level, and you will feel the bike steady underneath you almost like magic. The veterans did not have fancy rider courses for this. They just rode circles in the church parking lot on a Sunday until it became second nature. Slow riding is not the kiddie pool. It is the gym where every other skill gets built. If these are landing for you, take 1 second and hit subscribe. I dig into the honest side of riding every single week. No sponsor fluff, no telling you what you want to hear. Now let's get into the back half, because this is where the old school wisdom stops being technical and starts getting personal. Number 5, your motorcycle goes wherever your eyes go. Every veteran has said some version of this. Look through the turn, eyes up. Where you look is where you end up. It sounds almost too simple to take seriously, so a lot of riders nodded along and then kept staring straight down at the pavement 2 feet in front of the front wheel. But this is one of the deepest truths in all of riding, and it has a dark side with a name. Target fixation. Stare at the pothole, you ride into the pothole. Stare at the guardrail, you drift toward the guardrail. Lock your eyes on the car that pulled out, and your bike steers you straight at it like a magnet. The old riders watched it happen over and over. What they understood is that riding is done mostly with your eyes, not your hands. Lift your gaze to where you want to be, the exit of the corner, the gap in traffic, the clear line, and your body and the bike quietly follow without you even thinking about it. Every modern training program now teaches vision first, because the old men had diagnosed it perfectly with zero research budget. It even smooths out your cornering without you trying. Turn your head, look all the way through to where the corner opens up, and the bike just flows around in a clean, calm arc instead of the choppy, mid-corner correction that scares newer riders half to death. The old riders called it riding with your chin up. Keep your eyes up, and most problems solve themselves before they even become problems. But to trust your eyes out there, you first have to trust your machine, which is number 4. Number 4. Learn to work on your own bike. The old school riders had a relationship with their motorcycles that a lot of modern owners just do not. They could set their own chain tension, change their own oil, adjust their own clutch, and tell you something was wrong by sound alone from across the garage. People assumed that was only because old bikes broke down more. Partly true, but there was something deeper going on. When you maintain your own machine, you learn what normal actually feels and sounds like. The normal idle, the normal pull, the normal click of the gearbox. So the day something is even slightly off, a new vibration in the handlebars, a strange rattle at idle, a brake lever that suddenly feels soft, you catch it early in the driveway instead of discovering it at 60 miles an hour in the rain. And no, you do not have to be a master mechanic. The old guys were not all wizards. They just knew the fundamentals: chain, oil, brakes, tires, lights. The stuff that quietly keeps you alive. Build yourself a simple pre-ride habit, a quick walk around. Tires, controls, lights, oil, chain, 60 seconds before you pull out of the driveway. Learn to read your tire wear, listen for a chain that has gone dry, and notice when a brake lever creeps closer to the bar than it did last week. That basic, hands-on care is the entire difference between a bike you genuinely trust and a bike you just hope holds together until you get home. And that connection to a simpler, more honest machine is exactly what number 3 is about. Number 3. The simplest motorcycle on the road is very often the smartest one. The veterans were always a little suspicious of bikes that had too much going on. Too many electronics, too many ride modes nobody uses, too many things that could glitch and leave you stranded on a roadside with no cell signal. The modern crowd laughed it off as old men being scared of progress. But watch what is actually happening right now. Riders are flocking back to simple, honest, mid-size machines they can understand and fix themselves. Half the planet still rides air-cooled motorcycles for a reason, and it is not because they cannot afford better. Fewer parts means fewer failures. A bike you can repair on the side of the road with a basic toolkit beats a bike that needs a laptop and a dealership appointment every time a warning light blinks. Now, that does not mean every gadget is bad. Anti-lock brakes save lives, full stop. But the old riders were drawing a line the industry conveniently forgot. There is a real difference between technology that protects you and technology that just adds cost, weight, and one more thing to break. The bikes people fall in love with for life are almost never the most complicated ones. They are the ones that just start, just run, and just go, year after year. The old men always knew the soul of a motorcycle was never in the spec sheet, which takes us straight into number 2. Number 2. Smooth always wins. Slow is smooth, and smooth is fast. The old riders repeated it like a prayer before every ride. New riders heard it and assumed it was just a cute saying, because surely fast is fast and slow is slow. Here is what they actually meant. A panicked, jerky rider who stabs the brakes, yanks the throttle, and slams through the gears is slower, more exhausted, and far more likely to crash than the rider who does every single thing gently. Smooth inputs keep the tires loaded evenly and predictably, so the bike stays settled, planted, and calm at exactly the moment you need every bit of grip. The veterans figured out something the rest of us learned the hard way. Aggression is the enemy of control. The fastest, safest riders out there almost look lazy on the bike because they are not fighting the machine, they are flowing with it. Brake gradually, lean gradually, roll the throttle on gradually. The bike rewards calm and punishes panic every single time. So you want to go faster on your favorite back road? Stop trying to go fast. Get smooth first, get your inputs clean, and the speed shows up on its own. But the single most important thing the old riders ever got right is not about riding at all. It is number 1. Number 1. The brotherhood was always the whole point. For everything the old school riders knew about tires, gear, and physics, this is the one thing they understood better than anybody. A motorcycle was never really about the motorcycle. It was about who it connected you to. Think about the wave, that little low hand from oncoming riders that you almost stop noticing. The veterans treated it as something close to sacred, and the younger crowd sometimes skips it now, eyes locked forward, too cool to bother. But that wave means something real. It says, I see you, I am one of you, get home safe. Even total strangers on the road become something like family in the space of half a second, and it goes so far past a wave. The old riders built an entire culture around it. You stop for a stranded rider on the shoulder. You hand over your tools without being asked. You check on the nervous new guy and make sure he gets home. And it did not matter what you rode, where you came from, how much money you had, or what you believed. If you were out there on 2 wheels, you were in. That kind of belonging is rare. The world does not just hand it out, the bikes will keep changing. The tech will keep getting smarter and more complicated. But the reason most of us throw a leg over a motorcycle was never the horsepower. It was the freedom, the people, and the quiet respect of one rider for another on an open road at sunset. The old men knew that from the very first day. Ask any veteran about their best day on a bike, and they almost never describe a lap time or a top speed. They describe a road, a sunset, and the people they rode it with. They were right about all of it. So look at everything that just happened. Start small. Respect your tires. Wear the gear. Ride like you are invisible. Master the slow stuff. Keep your eyes up. Know your machine. Keep it simple. Stay smooth. And never forget, it was always about the people. Every one of those was old school wisdom that the rest of the riding world spent years, sometimes decades, catching up to. Turns out the gray-bearded guy in the faded jacket at the gas station was not stuck in the past at all. He was just decades ahead of the rest of us, and too humble to brag about it. If this one hit home, do me one favor and hit subscribe, because next week I am breaking down the flip side. The old school habits that are actually wrong, the stuff the veterans got flat out wrong, and you really do not want to be arguing about it in the comments without seeing that one first. Ride safe out there. I will see you in the next one.